Are you someone who is responsible for liquidating an entire estate? Perhaps you have a loved one that's passed away and it's your responsibility now to clear out the house and all of their belongings. Or if you're like me, and I know there's probably not too many people in my situation, I liquidated everything I own so that I could travel around the world as a nomad living in timeshares. And now I'm starting to do some cruises. In this video, I'm going to share with you my thoughts around hiring an estate sale company and what my experience was when I interviewed a couple of them. And at the end, I'll share with you who I think is best suited for having an estate sale company help with the liquidation of the entire estate. If this is your first time watching my videos, I'm Debbie Morton, and a year ago, after liquidating everything, I hit the road to travel around the world, and I made this decision after my husband had passed away the year prior, and I just didn't like living in a house without him and all the memories, and I didn't know where I wanted to relocate to. I was very fortunate that we had a lot of timeshare points banked because of the pandemic. And so I just decided to travel until I could figure out where I wanted to ultimately end up. And if you'd like to follow along in my travels, I take you through my journey through grief, my journey of getting rid of everything, my journeys around the world. And I do have a home-based business, and I'll share some insights around how you can create some additional income and even live this lifestyle if that's what you're hoping to do. If you'd like to follow along, be part of my community, hit that subscribe button, totally free. It shows me some love. It shows YouTube what kind of content you like to watch, so they'll serve up a little bit more of what you like to watch, and you'll be notified the next time I post a video. I was really, really fortunate when when I had the responsibility of liquidating the estates of my parents who lived in other states, with my real father and stepmother who lived in Kansas. I was at the time living in California. I had other relatives. I had specifically two aunts and a cousin who were excited at the idea of sorting through everything and having a great big garage sale and donating a bunch of stuff to the church. So I was really fortunate that I had them to kind of stage everything and get everything kind of prepared for a sale, and it was minimal work on my part. And for my parents that lived up in Seattle while I lived in California, it was this kind of the same situation. I had a friend whose sister loved doing estate sale type projects, and they came to the house, and this was a high school friend, a very dear friend of mine, and they totally cleaned out the whole house, sorted through everything, and had it all staged. And it truly was a labor of love on their part. And I was blessed that all I had to do was fly up to Seattle for the actual sale. So I was really fortunate in those two situations. But then it came around to my situation, and at the time my husband passed away, we had a 4-bedroom house with a 3-car garage and a whole lot of stuff. We had gotten married later in life and combined 2 households, and now there's a lot of emotions that it was attached to it, like a lot of emotion. And there was also deadlines I needed to meet. I needed to get everything done by a certain day for me to hit the road. I was dealing with my own grief, widow's fog, the inability to think clearly, and it was just a daunting task. And a dear friend of mine who is a real estate agent suggested that maybe I should talk to some estate sale individuals. Now, I know it's going to be different throughout the country. My friend happened to live in Texas. I was at the time living in Phoenix. So I'm going to share the conversation and my experience when I talked with estate sale companies and why I chose to do it on my own. There were 3 companies that I talked with. The first company had told me it was going to be $2,500 right off the top, no matter what the estate sale generated. And then after that, it was a 60-40 split. They would keep 40%. I got 60. And they invited me to come to one of their sales. So I drove about an hour away over the weekend to walk through the house where they were having a sale. And what they said, and this was pretty typical of all of the companies, is the first day of the sale, everything is full price. The second day of the sale, they discount everything. I want to say it was by 25%. And then the third day of the sale, everything's 50%. And then after that, they donate to charity. And when I went to the sale, I was shocked. It was the final day of the sale, and I couldn't see where anything had been sold. Like the house was just still totally full of stuff. And it got me thinking, like, how are they advertising this? And like, I would not want to be in the final day of the sale and then everything's being donated. So it kind of just put my little radar up that maybe I don't want to do this and and walk through my house on the final day of a sale going, what's sold? I'm now paying $2,500 up front and 40%. And then the second time I met with somebody, theirs was a little bit different. They said it's $3,000 or 40% of all the proceeds, whichever is greater. And so again, I'm thinking, okay, well, 3,000 or 40%. So that's still like going to be $3,000 right off the top. And the third person I spoke with was very similar. I think she was $3,500 and 40% of all the proceeds. But here's what I'm so grateful for. I'm so grateful for the third person that I spoke with. Because when I was talking with her, I said, it just doesn't make sense to me. I mean, I have a household full of a lot of goods. It's not like there was a ton of stuff to sell. It's a typical 4-bedroom household. And I said, like by the time I split this 60-40, or by the time you take $3,500 off the top, it seems like there's not going to be much left. It seems to me I should just have a whole bunch of friends come in and we should just kind of enjoy the time together and sort through stuff together. And in the end, I would have a lot more funds. And she said, Debbie, do you want my honest opinion? Like, here it comes. Here comes the sales pitch. Here comes yeah, but we do all the marketing and we do all of the sorting and we'll leave your house, broom clean or however you want it. And I'm like ready for that sales pitch. And here's what she said to me. I'm so grateful for honest individuals. She said, Debbie, have the sale yourself. The people who I work with have a lot of antiques, or they have a collection of items that have a lot of value, and we're specialists in finding where the best buyers for those types of things are. And because of our expertise in that, it pays for you to have us help you out. And she said, in this situation, when it's all said and done, by the time we're finished, you'll be lucky to have a few $1,000s. So have your friends come over and just take care of the sale yourself. And I promise you're going to come out ahead. And thankfully, she went around the house and she said, here's what I would ask for that dinette set. Here's what I would ask for that bed. Here's what I would ask for this dresser. And she gave me a whole bunch of great information. So I'm very, very grateful for her. And I did decide to do it myself. And I know I came out way ahead of hiring an estate sale company. I'll also include in this video, I did at the time I was doing a lot of lives on my Facebook page, and I put it out to a community that was following me on Facebook, and I asked them about their experiences. There was not one single comment or message to me from someone who had a positive experience. Now, I'm not saying that there aren't people, and if you've had a positive experience, please put that in the comments, because if this does help somebody, I definitely want them to know the benefit and the value of having an estate sale company. Here's the case where I think it's probably very valuable to have an estate sale company, is if this estate sale is far away from where you are and you don't have the resources or the help of someone who can stage a garage sale and help you with the liquidation of everything. You're just kind of on your own, and this is your responsibility, but you have a full-time job, you've got kids, you've got a life, and this is just so not practical for you to physically be the one to stage the sale and make and get rid of everything. Then you may end up hiring a estate sale person. Just know that depending on what's in the house, and again, interview a lot of different companies, and just know that chances of you having much left at the end of that sale, it's probably not going to yield as much value as you might think is there by the time the estate sale company takes their cut. Another thing you could do is, depending on the transfer of assets, and I'm certainly no expert in this, but because I inherited all of my parents' stuff, everything that I was donating to charity was a write-off. And I feel like in the end, taking the write-off from charity would bring more than the proceeds of an estate sale, and it was just it's simpler and easier. So there's lots of different options. Make sure you do your research, check some different resources, meet with some different estate sale places, because I learned a lot. If you're in that situation where you're having an estate sale, I hope that this has brought some value for you. Please leave any comments or questions or your own experiences in the comments to help others. If you're someone who's just downsizing and just trying to declutter your house and downsize, or you're moving and you need to downsize, I do have other videos on my channel kind of going through the steps I took for downsizing. And one of the biggest challenges for me in getting rid of everything was the emotional attachment I had to things. And there's a video here on this channel. I'll put links to them also down in the comments. If you've enjoyed this, and if you'd like to follow me along on my journeys, again, hit that subscribe button, totally free. And I'd love to take you along with me in my travels.